Vi har fået et kald, der hedder Action, og det betyder, at vi er tilbage i studiet her til Danske Mesterskaber i ridebanespring i 2018 på Absolute Horses. Vi har fået fint selskab i studiet. Vi har nemlig ingen ringer end OL-sølvmedaljevinder fra Sverige, Peder Fredricsson, i studiet. Peter, welcome to the studio. I think we'll switch to English just to make sure that everybody gets us, hopefully. So, thank you.
Good idea.
Peter, what are you doing in Denmark? I mean, Olympics, and you won stuff at the Global Championships Tour, and now you're here with your silver medalist horse, Orlin Allen, I believe he's called in daily name. Yeah. So what are you doing here?
Many reasons. I was actually here 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed the show. It's really good atmosphere, good courses, good surface. I think it's a really good show. And also my best horse, Orlin, has been injured for a while. So he needed to go to and do some small classes, so it suited really well here.
Yeah. And how has he been then, the silver medalist horse?
I was very happy with him. He did one 120 class yesterday, and he jumped good. And today he did 130 class, and he jumped fantastic. So I have a very good feeling for this year. I hope everything keeps feeling good.
Sure, both me and all your fans are very pleased to hear that. What can we expect for the future for Orlin?
My dream would be that he stays sound now and keep improving, and I could have him ready for the World Games in Tryon. I plan now
this year. Yeah.
So I plan he should do from now. Okay, now he only did 120, 130, but he should. I plan to have him competing every second weekend now, until the games.
Aha, okay.
And if he stays sound and we get no setbacks, it could be possible to have him in good form.
We hope. Cross our fingers. Yeah. All right. So, and now you spoke already about something I'd like to ask you about, because you said my dreams. Yesterday, you and I, we had a small chat, and you said something about, which was a surprise to me, about that. In your recent years, I believe, you found that your competitiveness kind of have risen, like from maybe never seen before. Like you're so much more competitive. I think with the way you pronounced it yesterday than you ever felt before.
Yeah.
And my question would be like, so this is a guy who's ridden I don't know how many Olympics, both in eventing and show jumping, and you've won so many different classes, different horses. My belief would have been that you have always been very competitive, but you have a different experience of that.
I'm actually not a competitive person at all by nature, and I started riding mostly because I liked the horses and I liked working with them and working with animals, and I was competing together with my brother and then together with my wife, and it was more of a lifestyle thing for me. Mm-hmm. And then I got a sponsor contract with H&M, and then I got a bit of pressure from outside to perform better, which was good, pushed me in the right direction. And then finally, like a couple of years ago, when Orlin came into my stable, I realized that I had a horse. I actually had a fantastic horse. And then at the same time, my wife Lisa, she stopped riding, and that gave me also much more freedom to really be serious about my competitions.
Yeah.
And it was interesting actually, and that made me also much more competitive, because when you can win, then you don't want to miss it.
No.
And so that fired a new spark in me actually for the competition thing.
It's very interesting, because as a mental trainer, oftentimes I get to meet some of the most competitive riders in the world. And it doesn't matter actually which level they are riding or competing at. Many of them already, when they enter the sport, they are so competitive already there, because that's why they compete. Funny enough. And some of those who kind of like are in it just for the animals, just for the lifestyle, they're not. Maybe I don't see them as often at competitions, at shows. But
no, true. I have a bit of both now actually.
Because
I think sometimes it's a good combination to have. Yeah. And sometimes it's a bad one,
Yeah. Yes, you need a balance or harmony, I guess. Because when it's enough, and when are you too competitive?
Exactly. And also, like, sometimes if you're not so competitive and you really like the horses, you don't really want to take that last chance with the horses. You don't want to risk everything because you want to save a little bit in the horse, and And of course, to win the biggest shows, you always have to take risks.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But at the same time, if you want to have a long career on a horse, you also have to put the welfare of the horse
And
first.
I totally believe that and agree. Any insights on that? Any tricks that maybe the viewers like to learn from?
I think to have a horse that lasts for a long time and that performs well, you should find a system that makes it easy for him. You know, when you train him and when you compete him, for sure you have to try to win, but you also have to make sure he feels really good and he's happy. And sometimes you think you have to do things with horses, like you have to school them every morning and you have to have them super obedient, and you think you have to do a lot of things. Sometimes you actually don't.
Exactly.
You know, it's
overcomplicated.
Yeah, sometimes you think you need to do things, but in the end, maybe you don't. And then I think
like
less is more with horses, and
Less is more.
you should try to, change as little as possible, but as much as necessary.
Yeah, I think you said yesterday, be consistent about your approach to horses. Yeah.
Make it easy.
Conscious of the leadership.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Very interesting. Very interesting. But was it like after the Olympics, this Olympics in Rio, I believe it was, where you felt that extra spark of your competitiveness, or when was it?
Yeah, it was actually before Rio. It was more of a strategic attitude that I wanted to, get better. I want to, get up on the world ranking, get into the good shows, and develop. And after Rio, I was beaten by a half a second by Nick Skelton, so I was second place, and I was super happy with my silver medal.
Yeah,
I was super happy with it, and but then time went on, and it started to annoy me a little bit, And actually,
it's called motivation, right?
Yeah, actually, I got. I got pneumonia and I got ill, and when I was lying in the bed and I got a bit better, I couldn't ride, and I was just thinking about, like, why was I too slow, to win the medal? And then I realized that I wasn't, like 90% of my training had been to try to make clear rounds, make it to Olympic Games, go clear rounds and so on, and I put very little effort, on training to be fast, training for jump off, analyzing jump off, that competitiveness.
Yes.
So after Rio, I made a goal for me and for my stable with Stephanie that we should be 1 second quicker this year. Like 1 second quicker in the first round and 1 second in the jump off, and everything we did at home, we should have that in mind.
So when you're training the canter and the flow and the rhythm of the horses, you kind of like make sure that the pace is 1 second faster.
Yeah, like everything. Like when let's say we jumped 5 fences, we wouldn't jump them like all on the straight line. 2 of them we would, try to turn before or after. In a way, I mean, of course, we didn't jump big tracks and go flat out, but we divided the jump offs into 5, 6 sections, and we train those individual. Turn up to fence, jump fences on diagonal, and in the flat work we did the changes of speed and these things. It was not big things because it's all in your head anyway.
Yeah, definitely.
So, but that made a big change actually. Also for Steffi, because she a couple of months later she won her first World Cup also. So it was.
Yeah, she did amazing there.
Yeah. And she went also to be a really quick rider, so it was nice.
Oh wow, it's working.
Yeah, it was
like
working.
That. And that's of obvious question would be, of course, a guy like you at that level, you're competing, and the results you have. How do you find your new inspiration to get even better?
I mean that's something you have. Either you have it or you don't have it. But I think one important thing is to make sure that you create a bit of time. A bit of time for reflection, and a bit of time to, when you have a spare moment, just don't pick up your phone and check Instagram or these things, because then you kill your creative side. Yeah. You just have to make sure you have time to get new good thoughts.
Yeah, and I know you. One thing you did before the Olympics was reading books.
Yeah.
To kind of like get your mind into.
That's super interesting.
To do self-development, personal development, and stuff like that. Yeah.
I do that. I'm the kind of person. I'm a bit nerdy. I get into. I get interested in something like let's say we talked about the mental thing. If I get interested, I feel I have something I would like to develop, then I just go in on Amazon and I check who is the best one, and I order home the books,
Cool.
and I read them. No, maybe two, three, until I get the answers I want, and then I move on to something else, and then I order home books from that and read them.
Sounds so good. I have this 5-3-1 rule, I call it. So when I want to be the best in something, I search for the 5 most important books written on the topic, and then I have the 3 best seminars in the world, or courses, and then I attend them. And then the guy of all guys, or the guru, or the girl, who knows most about it, the expert number 1, I go to visit them, and I try to pick their brains.
Okay,
so
I have some improvement to make. I hear. That's good. I'm going to pick that up. That's very good.
5-3-1 rule, right?
That's fantastic.
Peter, just one thing more. I know you're a busy guy, but just one more thing that kind of surprised me. I didn't know that side about you. We talked about creativity. And I just recently learned that you actually are a painter, a very good painter, by the way, in your spare time.
Yeah.
Just speak to us about that.
I don't know if I'm good.
I think so, at least.
Yeah,
definitely at home, check it out. I mean, check out Peter Fredricsson painting or something like that. You'll see some pictures of beautiful horses, and you have this blue color to it. That's kind of like your signature style, I guess, for the moment at least.
Yeah, I like the color. Yeah.
Why do you paint? What is that all about?
I always liked doing it since I was a kid, and I was lucky actually in school. I had a very good teacher, like when I was young, and he saw some kind of talent in all the students. He was a fantastic teacher. He picked up, and then he gave me some extra time. I could paint and motivated me, and then I just kept doing it, and I really like it. It's mainly horses, and for the moment, unfortunately, I don't have time, but I hope I can pick it up later on.
Something you do back home in Grevlunda, or is it like you do it on the tour in the lorries, or
No.
you don't have you live at the hotel? So I don't know.
No, but the thing is, like, the reason I'm not doing it now because I don't have time, and it's also like, I did it up until I got all in. I did it.
Okay.
I'm also a graphic designer. I've been working with that alongside the riding until I got all in, and then I really focused on the riding. But when I start painting, I just lose myself into that, and everybody goes crazy. The grooms call me, and well, you're not supposed to ride today in these things, and so
you go to a different world.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not even here anymore.
No. So it's, I can't combine it. Top sport and painting for me is not a good combination.
but maybe it is to complete you. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, so you grow from both universes.
I would probably be the most happy, but I wouldn't get results in the riding. No, I mean the riding, to be successful at the level I'm at now, I need to spend a lot of time thinking about how I can, be better, and the horses can be as good as they
can be. Yeah. People talk about being creative and paint. They talk about how it de-stresses us, and I guess there would be some stress at your level too. I mean, expectation, H&M, and so on and so forth.
In that way, painting is nice because you use another part of the brain, and then you relax the other part. So in that way, it's really, once you get going, But then I get so relaxed. The other thing stresses me, and all the phone calls stresses me.
Yeah, of course.
So,
you need to find a proper balance. Peter Fredricsson, thank you so much for letting us into your world, and super cool to see you here at Absolute Horses. We hope you enjoy your time, even though now the rain has just arrived. And I know you have 2 horses left, one class back. So we wish you the best of luck, and
thank you.
Hope to see you at the Worlds.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Cheers.
Thank you. Bye. Okay, så det var altså selveste... vi slutter af, Peter. Ja, vi kører live jo på tv her på Facebook. Det var så selveste Peter Fredricsson, vi har i studiet her, og fantastisk, og jeg håber, du har fået nogle insights og nogle læringer fra ham, fordi på mange måder, så må vi jo altså bare sige, at han er helt ekstraordinær, og det er formentlig også en af årsagerne til, at han er gået så langt, som han har gjort inden for vores herlige sport her. Følg med her på kanalen, for om et øjeblik, så skal de unge mennesker i gang med DM-klassen, som starter her, og så vidt jeg husker, med en lille times tid. Så stay tuned, vi ses.